Thank you for attending the Week of Kindness. Coming up next is another powerful, impactful, amazing speaker. Get your notepad out, get your pen. Let's get ready and enjoy.
Welcome, welcome, welcome. You are viewing a recording of Why They Buy, and we're going to be discussing how you can increase your income, influence, and impact. I'm excited to be here today to introduce you to a revolutionary idea designed to increase your income and impact by up to 300%. And I have two questions for you. What would doubling or even tripling your income mean for you, your family, and your business? And secondly, if you could take the skills that you learn to increase your income and bring that into your personal life, enriching your marriage, your relationship with your children, those who are near and dear to your heart, how much more rewarding and fulfilling would your life be? I'm going to reveal the secret behind why they buy, the science of biology, of why people buy either a product or service or buy into you. In today's short talk, I'm going to introduce you to the secrets, the science, and the system to supercharge your sales and impact by up to 300%. I'm also going to introduce you to technology that will help you in accomplishing those goals. So let's head over to the presentation. Why they buy. Increasing your income, influence, and impact. Hi, I'm Tonya White, financial educator and coach, bringing awareness to key financial principles, as well as pulling back the curtain on how financial instruments work, so my clients can make smarter and more beneficial decisions based on their purpose for money. I had attended a similar webinar on why people buy and was fascinated by what I learned. So much so that I wanted to share it with others. According to Salesforce.com, 67% of salespeople miss their quota. That means 2 out of 3 of you are not hitting your targets that you set as your intention for your income or revenue goals. Another 87% revealed that they do not feel adequately prepared to meet with their clients. And last but not least, 66% of your clients revealed that they feel turned off by your presentation. Ouch. So what I'm here to do today is I'm here to show you how to turn these numbers in your favor. Now, let me share with you a quote from Robert Kiyosaki, the author of Rich Dad, Poor Dad. He said, "The ability to sell is the number 1 skill in business, not number 2, not number 3, but number 1. The challenge that I found, though, is that with most sales training is that we're led to believe that one of the greatest potential lies ever told, and that is that sales is a numbers game. Ask yourself if you've ever been told that before, that in order to get more yeses, you have to get more nos, right? Well, what if I told you that that's no longer true? Because the truth is, in order to get more yeses, you actually have to get more yeses. And I'm going to reveal exactly how to do that. I'm going to reveal to you a proven way to get more yeses and increase your income, influence, and impact by up to 300%. Now, there's a secret, and I want you to write this down, that sales is not a numbers game. It's a people game. You're in the people business. So let me introduce you to a very powerful concept, a revolutionary concept called BANK. It's personality-based, meaning that it's rooted in the principles of the 4 personality types, dating back thousands of years, and with a very powerful twist that, when applied to today's sales practices, will create extraordinary results. BANK is people-centered because that's the secret we just revealed. BANK is also profit-driven because we want you to make more money than you've ever made before. And Codebreaker Technologies, the company behind BANK, is purpose-driven. Their mission is to connect and empower humanity And their motto and mantra is to make people matter. The innovator behind Bank is a woman by the name of Sherry Tree. Sherry invented this methodology to solve her own challenge, which was, how do you close more sales? What she discovered has been called a game changer. Sherry has shared this all over the world in more than 100 different countries. It's an exciting story, so let me share just how it started. Now, Sherry started in the financial services industry, and in her first year, she crushed it, making a grand total of $700 for the year. Now, I hope some of you are outperforming her. Now, over a period of 5 years, she invested heavily into her personal and professional development and training, and it did pay off. She was able to grow her income from $700 to $72,000. And despite all the accolades she received, she didn't feel any closer to being successful. The reality was she was $30,000 in credit card debt and playing the fake it till you make it game. She questioned whether or not she was cut out for sales. What she discovered was one of the greatest discoveries in the history of sales. She discovered it was, in fact, the system that was broken. Once she discovered the missing link and applied it in her sales practice, she skyrocketed her income, taking it in a single year from $72,000 to over $500,000. That's a 7x increase. She was also able to reduce her work hours from 60 to 80 hours a week, hustling and grinding, down to 20 to 30 hours a week, and still have those amazing results. She kept working and kept doing it. And over a 3-year period, she now had personal income over $1 million. Over time, Sherry has been invited to teach bank at numerous universities, such as UCLA, Harvard, Stanford, all of them blown away by the research and the findings she shared. On top of that, San Francisco State University conducted a formal study on the bank methodology. They wanted to prove whether or not this was even valid and does it work. They published their findings in a white paper, which I'm happy to get you a copy of. And that white paper showed that bank predicts buying behavior. Now, the idea here is not that it's rocket science, but in fact that it's personality science. Now, Sherry didn't invent personality science. It actually dates back thousands of years to Hippocrates, known as the father of medicine. And what he basically discovered was that he could take the entire human race and divide it into 4 different groups. Each of them were so different from one another that he could treat them with medicine differently just based on which group they were in. He called this the theory of the 4 temperaments. Now, if you fast forward to today's modern world, there have been dozens and dozens of different personality typing assessments that have been created so that people like you and me can figure out which type we are. Some of the more popular ones you've heard of, I'm sure, DISC, Myers-Briggs, the Color Code, True Colors, Berkman, and there's so many more. Have you ever taken one of these assessments? I would venture to guess that most of us probably have. Well, Sherry took these assessments too, and in the beginning, she was fascinated with what she learned about herself. But to be honest, her fascination grew into frustration because she realized that not one single one of these assessments ever made her more money. None of them helped her close more sales. None of them helped her get a yes instead of a no. And then the idea occurred to her, wait a second, there's a missing link. Well, you see, the reality is that if there's 4 different types of people, what she wondered was whether or not what makes one person say yes might make another person say no. This was an aha moment that led her to the great discovery called BANK. BANK is an acronym representing the 4 personality types: blueprint, action, nurturing, and knowledge. And I'm going to walk you through that today. Now, what makes BANK totally different from any other company and other program is that others are based in psychology, whereas BANK was the first one in the world based in biology, the science of buying behavior. You see, at the end of the day, Sherry didn't care what someone's psychological profile was. She cared what triggered the yes or tripwired the no. And this was a great discovery. Now, I'm going to teach you today how to crack the personality code and take it to the bank. So let me start with the analogy of this device right here called a cryptix. A cryptix is a combination of two words, cryptology, which is the science of locking up secret information, and codex, which is the secret script or scroll locked inside the device containing the secret message. It was first made famous in the movie The Da Vinci Code. Now, in the movie, this was the device, and what was locked inside was the secret to the Holy Grail. The challenge was the only way to access it was to crack the code. Now, if you could successfully crack the code, the device would open, and there you would have access to a tiny little scroll, and on it was written the secret to the Holy Grail. Now, the challenge with this little device was that it was booby-trapped. If you failed to crack the code correctly, what you cracked open instead was a tiny little vial of vinegar, which would leak out, dissolve the writing on the paper, leaving you with nothing. And I want you to imagine from this point forward, every single one of your clients, your customers that you attempt to engage with, every single lead that you generate, every prospect that you meet with has a little invisible cryptix. And I want you to imagine if what was locked inside this device was a tiny little piece of paper, and if what was written on that piece of paper was exactly what to say to them to get a yes instead of a no, would you want to crack that code? Well, that would be a no-brainer, right? Tony Robbins says, let your prospect determine your presentation. Well, that's when it occurred to Sherry, wait a minute, if there are 4 different types of people, shouldn't we have 4 different types of presentations, 4 ways of approaching our customers? And yet, so many sales presentations, most people have how many? 1. And that is the great mistake. Because if you're speaking from your dominant personality communication style and you go to talk to one of the 4, and if they match your personality style, well, chances are you're going to get a yes. But if the chances are that they don't represent your style, but one of the other 3 styles, how successful do you think you'll be? Now, I want to share with you a little bit of research behind this. The Challey Group revealed in a scientific study, they said that only 18% of buyers will buy from a salesperson who does not match the buyer's personality type versus 82% success rate when the personality types are aligned. This was a revolutionary concept, and I want you to pay close attention. Now, Bank is designed to help you increase your income and impact by up to 300% by learning how to speak the right language, the buyer's language of your customer. Now, let me give you a quick little analogy. Look at these 4 little blocks. These 4 blocks represent the 4 different personality types. Let's say that each block speaks a different language. Now let's take a look at the blue, and let's say the blue speaks English. That's the language you're already speaking in currently with your customer. You and they speak the same language, so no problem. Your probabilities of closing the sale are pretty high, right? Well, now what if you go and present your products or services to the red block? But let's say they don't speak English. Let's say they speak French. If you deliver your presentation to them in English and they only speak French, do you think you have a good chance of closing that sale? Well, no, of course not. You spoke the wrong language. But if you had the ability to speak in French to that customer, well, and you both speak French, now you have a connection, which leads to a higher probability of closing the sale. So now you've increased your influence by 100%. You now speak 2 codes or 2 languages instead of just 1. Well, what about when you meet that 3rd personality type, the yellow block? Let's say they don't speak English, they don't speak French. Let's say they speak Spanish. What if you had the ability to suddenly speak to them in Spanish and you say, hola, ¿cómo está? Well, now you can imagine that the customer who speaks Spanish is suddenly going to understand everything that you say. And chances are, and the likelihood of them saying yes to your offer has just increased. You've now increased your influence by 200%. So let's take that fourth and final personality type. Let's say they don't speak English, they don't speak French, and they don't speak Spanish. What if they speak Korean? And what if the entire deal of closing the sale and taking it to the bank was based on your ability to simply speak Korean to them? Well, with bank, you can actually speak to them in a code that creates the yes probability. Now imagine if you could speak to them in their matching language. You've increased your influence in this example up to 300%. And that is the power of the bank system. The system is an acronym that stands for Save Yourself Time, Energy, and Money. I'm going to introduce you to the bank system. I'm going to give you a quick overview of each of the buyer's profiles, the B, the A, the N, and the K. And by the time I'm done introducing you to the system, it will become obvious that each of the personality types is so different from one another that it would be foolish to speak to them in the wrong code. Okay, let's get started. So B stands for blueprint. Now notice how I use the color blue. Think of this person as a little bit colder to approach. And I want to use the analogy of a box. The blueprint is someone who is inside the box. They're very conservative by nature and very risk averse. Well, the reason is because they have a certain set of values that are driving their operating system. And let me introduce you to those values. Now, someone who is classified as a blueprint and having the values of blueprint, they value things like stability, structure, systems, planning, processes, predictability, responsibility, duty, rules, credentials, titles, and traditions. Now you can see the very nature of this type of person is going to have a particular type of buying style. So let me ask you a question. Do you think this person, that for this person, it's okay to show up late to an appointment? No. As a matter of fact, if you show up late, it could cost you the deal, and it has for many. Why? Because it's an unspoken rule. And that's an example of the things that we'll teach you when you want to dive deeper into the personality science behind bank. Now, let me go ahead and introduce you to the next type in bank, the A, that stands for action. Notice the color red. These are your movers and shakers and millionaire makers. They act like they just drank Red Bull for breakfast, and they love to be treated like VIPs and walk the red carpet. These people are not anything close to being inside the box like the blueprints. As a matter of fact, they're totally opposite. They're outside the box. Well, why? Because they have a completely different set of values. You see, the action personality type values things like freedom, flexibility, spontaneity, action, opportunity, excitement, attention, stimulation, competition, winning, having fun, and image from head to toe, it's all for show. So the action personality type, when it comes to their buying decisions, they make criteria based on something totally different than what the blueprints do. As a matter of fact, punctuality isn't even a thing for them. They're probably the ones that are constantly late. But how you show up and appear, the things you say, your excitement and enthusiasm, the way that you're packaged, all of that matters to an action. So let me ask you, which buyer do you think spends more money, the blueprint or the action? You guessed it, the action. So the key is, how do you win the business of the action? And by the way, they're very, very picky with whom they do business with. They have triggers and tripwires that make or break the sale. And again, our deep dive training is when we'll get into this, where we'll share with you at the end how to get more access to this training if you would love that. Now let's move on. The N in BAKE stands for nurturing. Notice the color yellow. This is your warm, friendly type. warm like sunshine or sweet honey, and they've got a heart of gold. Now, the nurturing person is neither inside the box nor outside the box. They're totally different from the previous two. They're the ones that I would say recycle the box. Why? Because of their values. The nurturer values things like relationships, authenticity, personal growth, and significance, teamwork, involvement, community, charity, ethics, harmony, morality, and contribution. You see, these people care more about making a difference than they do about making a dollar. And again, they have their own set of criteria for doing business with them. Don't underestimate the power of the nurturing type. You might think, well, they might not have as much money to purchase your products and services, but oftentimes they have something much more valuable. They work in a different type of currency. They have something more powerful called relationship currency, and who they're connected to and who they can connect you to is worth its weight in gold. So winning the favor of nurturing clients is critical. We talked about the power of referrals. This is your best referral source right here. The fourth and final piece of bank code is the K, that stands for knowledge. Notice we use the color green here. Why? Well, because these people like numbers, data, and a whole lot of information. And so I like to think of Microsoft Excel spreadsheet, whose little logo is green, or in the movie The Matrix, the computer code that falls across the screen, also green. These people are neither inside the box nor outside the box, and they certainly don't recycle the box. In this case, they're the ones that engineered the box. Again, they have a completely different set of values. So let's go ahead and take a look at the values of the knowledge. The knowledge person values things like learning, intelligence, logic, self-mastery, technology, research and development, science, universal truths, expertise, competence, accuracy, and the big picture. Let me ask you a question, and this might be a trick question. Can you close a K? If you said no, you're correct. You can't. You cannot close a K. And that's because Ks have to close themselves. You see, they need a completely different set of processes in order to get to a yes. If you've ever had clients that get stuck in analysis paralysis and perhaps ask you 1,000,001 different questions, they could be a K. Now, Ks won't make a buying decision if there's any risk that they might be wrong. But what if we could teach you how you can deliver your information in a way that reduces the amount of time for them to make that decision? Wouldn't that be impactful for you? Great. Let's take a look at that. But before we do, let me ask you, with the power of the bank system, who do you align with more, do you think? Do you think you're more blueprint, action, nurturing, or knowledge? More importantly, what is the bank code of your clients and potential clients? And here's where it gets a little bit tricky, because the reality is that your customers, they're not just one of the four. You and they are actually a combination of all four personality types. And what makes up your bank code, think of it like a PIN code. So you see, when you take out your debit card and you go and put it in the ATM machine, it would require you to put in a 4-digit PIN code. And in what sequence do you need to enter that code? You got it. It has to be the exact right sequence if you want any money to come out. Now, your customer is the exact same way. The truth is, you need to speak to them in their exact bank code. If you want to have a yes come out, and if you want to close the deal, it's incredibly important that you don't rely on just guessing the primary code like you've probably been doing already. You actually need to know their full bank code, which leads me to this. The question should be, how many bank codes are there anyway? Well, there's actually 24 different bank codes. Now, what that means to you is that you have a 1 in 24 chance of delivering the exact right presentation that matches your client's bank code. That's roughly a 4% chance, or if you're a K, 4.16. Are those good odds? Not even close. And this is why people say that sales is a numbers game. But the great news is that if you know the full code, you actually have a 75% chance of getting it right. So, what if you could actually learn how to crack the code of your customers and being able to do that in 90 seconds or less? Right now, I invite you to scan this QR code and crack your bank code. It's fast, fun, and easy to do. Simply look at the cards when you get to the site and place them in order from most like you to the least. Enter your information and you will see a really cool report that will give you insights on how to supercharge your communication and supercharge your success. You can use your personal report as you engage impactfully with others. Now, you might be asking, is bank the right system for me? Well, we have found that people in hundreds of different countries across multiple industries are using it for spectacular results. People have also said that it's impacted their personal life, saving their marriage, making them a better person when they've used it personally. And there's also been leaders in various industries that have used it as they are leading their organizations. Now, and Forbes has said that Bank's artificial intelligence tool does help people close more sales in less time, that it is the future of sales. Now, imagine taking any type of content or copy, whether you're getting that from emails, text messages, websites, social media, blog posts, etc., running it through the artificial intelligence and having it guide you on exactly how to engage with the customer to get a yes, how to win and close the deal. Codebreaker AI is the first artificial intelligence in the world allowing you to decode someone's bank code literally in seconds. And those of you who would like to dive into this a little bit more, you can supercharge your sales and impact by up to 300%. If you're interested in that, I invite you to take advantage of the Kickstarter Pro program, which has 2 masterclass trainings, one for sales and one for relationships, plus the ebook, Why They Buy, and an advanced bank code assessment, which not only gives you your bank code, but also what level your B, A, N, and K is, those scores showing you the strength of each of your codes. This package typically retails for $99.95, but I have a special promo discount for you for those who are attending this event. In addition to the Kickstarter Pro, you have the opportunity to add on and take a test drive of the Explore subscription, which not only gives you the ability to crack as many codes for the people in your world, unlimited, it also gives you access to the artificial intelligence tool where you can run any written communication through the AI, including all of your marketing content and so much more. Plus, you will have access to the Bank Vault, which has over 50 hours of training to hone your skills as an influencer of impact. All of this and more is part of that Explore subscription, which regularly is $99 a month. But with this special promo, you can take a test drive for the Explore subscription for just $1 for your first month, which you are able to cancel at any time, but I doubt you'll want to. Now, to get started, scan my QR code, save my contact information to your phone, text me your name with the word bank, and I'll send you the promo code for $50 off the Kickstarter Pro package, as well as the link in order to access that. And so that package will come down to $49.95, as well as a promo code for that $1 trial of the Explore subscription. Now, be sure to connect and take it to the bank.
Wow, I hope you enjoyed that just as much as I did. Thank you so much for all of that great information. Hey, we're not done yet, so just relax. We're going to continue on with our next speaker in just a few moments.